Hi, and thank you for joining us on the conclusion of this fabulous backyard and pool renovation. I'm Tony Montuori Jr. with Home Design Concepts on the Empty the Bench podcast network. Now, we've hit a couple of trips and falls along the way, but we did get to the final end. The pool is complete. It's filled with water. Our light fixtures work. All of our water features work. The landscaping is in. But as anything else, you have to do your due diligence to get to the end of any project. So follow us for the next 30 minutes and you will see the coping going into the completion of this pool and all the wonderful features. Another day of the fabulous pool excavation and creation. Let me turn around again. So, we now have our gunite is in and it is formed. And we go through a process now of a week where I wet it down 3 times a day, and that slows the curing process of the concrete. So you really can get a much more stable base for the PebbleTech to go on. Now there's a lot more processes to go, but right now the guys just left. You can see there are some wooden forms going around the top edge of the pool, and they are putting in the forms for the concrete coping that will get poured in, and that will overhang. And but basically we're moving along very nicely, and everything looks perfectly smooth for where it needs to be right now. I'll just give you a bird's eye view of the jacuzzi. And here you have it. We're gonna have a light and jets. And I can't wait for a beautiful night looking up out at the mountains and enjoying this beautiful, soon to be beautiful backyard. Well, our coping forms have been installed and we're waiting for the coping concrete guy to show up to pour them. So let me show you a view from inside the pool. All of these wood boards you see are building the coping, and here I am in the pool. So you can see the beautiful steps going out. And here you can see where the ledge is, where those wonderful chaises will sit. And they, as you can see, they corrected the jacuzzi, so now this portion here is where the water will overflow and be our fountain effect into the pool, and the tile will come halfway down so it just touches the water line. Let me see if I can get out of here and show you the top view. Okay, not too bad, right? Probably easier with water. But here it is. So they put down the boards and then they pour the coping, and we've chosen a stain color for the coping so it's not just gray concrete. We did opt for a smooth finish on our coping. That is really, really important. The reason for the smooth finish is people sit on the edge, especially on the jacuzzi, and if you do a rough or a brushed finish, your bathing suits will tear or rip. They'll get caught on the concrete. So I opted for a smooth finish on the coping, and I strongly suggest that you do as well. But it really is coming together, and when they start pouring, I will show you that in the process. Good day. Today we are getting our coping poured in, and we picked a special color, not just to do concrete color. As you can see, they're just starting to do it, and then they smooth it off and they put in some expansion grooves. So I'm going to turn around and let you watch them do it. So they fill it all in from the in the forms. They put down a chemical to wash the concrete first, and then he's wetting it down, and then they'll smooth it out and level it. I know I keep using that word fascinating, but this whole process is very fascinating. How they can make this happen, and picking the color of the concrete. Just everything about the process is very interesting to me. But he'll go around the entire pool, and then the guys will start smoothing out as they work. Now this is different concrete than the gunite that was blown in. This is a more solid concrete, even though it's it comes in as putty or as a very liquefied, but it's much thicker in the process now. And so they'll go through many times, and again I asked them for a smooth finish on the concrete because I didn't want anybody's bathing suits to rip, and I like the idea of the smooth concrete finish on the top. So we'll have spillover into the sides. As you can see, the form, I'll come over here, the form is actually open on the sides, and that doesn't matter because our paver stones that go over here will cover that up. Then this process actually goes very quickly, them smoothing out the first round. And the color really is very pretty that we picked. But you can see over here now how it's spilling out. Again, all of that spill off that you see going down on the sides, you're not going to see it because the paver stones are going to be covering it up. So the top of the board is the same level as the concrete here. So the paver stones will be level with the coping on the pool, and to finish off the project. But they work as a team. I'm always amazed. These guys all work so well together. I mean, you know, one's putting the concrete pour in, one's holding the hose so it doesn't drag. You got the guy leveling it out with the shovel, and then the last guy is going ahead and flattening out the surface. And I'm sure they go in and do another layer. This is just the first layer of flattening to get it smooth. And once the concrete starts forming and setting up, then it'll be much easier to smooth it out. Now he's going to switch it up, and we're going to do the coping of the jacuzzi now. They'll start at one end and bring it around. Remember, the tile is going to be underneath this coping, so that's going to finish it off, and then the pebble tech will be below that. These forms will get removed after it dries. I'm assuming tomorrow. And that's all the concrete. They'll smooth it out and move it around, make it level. See the side of his belt? Those are the controls to stop the concrete from coming out. So he controls everything electronically now. Very interesting. Okay, then the rest is just letting it dry and smoothing it out again. So I'll pick you up again in a couple of minutes and we'll go from there. But this is how the coping gets put in and smoothed out on this fabulous pool. Tomorrow we will have the gardener come and he is going to put in where all the water spots are for each plant. Here in the desert we do a drip system, we don't just do sprayer heads. So they'll be able to spot out where all the plants are going and put water hoses running to them, and they'll all get buried underneath the dirt and the gravel and the paver stones. We'll be adding 2 lines coming up by the deck that's over here, the high deck, so that we can have a planter and put plants, a high planter, and put plants there. But it's all coming together very nicely, and the guys, everybody has been spectacular who has come and worked on our property. Can't wait to do another pool with them. Thanks for joining us on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. I'm Tony Montuori with Home Design Concepts, and I'll pick you up as soon as we start doing more finishing. So I wanted to tune back in and show you how they're troweling the edge, which gives it that rounded edge you see on concrete, and then they're going to add in those spacers or expansion joints. So let me flip the camera around. Sears tool, it's got a rounded edge, and he's just doing a very smooth to give us that rounded edge. As you can see over here, that it's not done yet, and then he goes through and makes it nice and smooth, and they even everything out. Let's see that process, and it makes a beautiful rounded edge. Cleans it up a little bit first, then he comes back with the rounded trowel, brings it down. Every worker that we've seen is a true craftsman of their trade, and you have to be, because this is very precise work and people want it to be as perfect as possible, and they've been doing this for a long time, all these guys. And concrete can be difficult to work with, and it also can be very easy to work with. But just very simple, you know, troweling it first, smoothing out his edge, and that gives it a nice rounded edge. The concrete is starting to form up nicely, so it's easier to work with as it gets a little firmer. And they all just work together very nicely. Beautiful, beautiful. So I'm going to check in on the guys again and see how the finishing is going. Let me turn you around. So the concrete is now really setting up, and they're actually removing the forms, and see, and now they can actually finish off the sides so that the sides are just as smooth. But you can see the expansion joints that they put in the concrete and the smooth finish, how pretty it is. Come around, and you can see it's a little bit of rough. I'll zoom in for you. It's a little rough when they take off the wood, but then he comes in and he smooths it out. So all the coping is really smooth and very, very finished looking. Really is beautiful. All of the expansion joints have a nice little curved edge. See if I can get a closer look as he's removing it. See how it's a little rough? But then they come in and they finish it off. So you'll never know. come down a little bit here so you can see it. Swing around here as he's taking off this piece here. It's just slightly rough, but then when they get done, they'll trowel it and it'll be much more finished looking. Swing around here, all the edge work that they do. But it's all these attention to details that makes your pool look absolutely fabulous. Let me turn it around here one more time. You know, you do hire expert people to do your project, and that's great. But you do have to do your own due diligence and watch the people. Make sure they're doing the correct job and inspect, because easy corrections can be made at the time that the concrete's going in. If the concrete sets up and it's dry, that's a whole different process of getting someone to come in and sand it. So if you just look at what they're doing and pay attention to the details that they're supplying you, you really can make your project go more smoothly and much more easier. So thanks again for joining us on the ETB network. And I'm Tony Montuori. Follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. Howdy, I'm back in that warm, beautiful sunshine. And a lot has happened over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. We've had paver stones delivered and the guys have been working on it. We've had some gravel delivered to put down. We've ordered some plants, they're there. But we do have one of those unforeseen hang-ups. And I will show you what has happened. Our paver stones are not level. And I'll talk you through it and I'll turn around and show you. So, as we go into our backyard here, you'll notice, you can see right away, the walkway is kind of leaning down over here and then it goes back to level. There was a misunderstanding about that concrete slab by the garage door, whether that was coming out or not, and it is coming out. So we need to match up to the level of the garage door, so all of these about halfway will be lifted tomorrow and reset at the correct height. As you continue into the backyard, we go back to level about here, but as we turn the corner, you will notice that the paver stones are angling down towards the patio. And the reason for this is we were removing those the patio, and when we removed the patio, the level of the coping would have been up to the level or just below the level of the door entry. And originally that's what we wanted, but we made a decision to keep the patio and to stain it the same color as the coping and just to leave it. But unfortunately, that has caused us to have a downgrade of level on these paver stones. So in order to correct this problem, we are now forced to remove the concrete and have paver stones in the entire place of the concrete and the path alongside the pool. And that extra cost is originally $5,300 to both remove that concrete, to buy the paver stones, and to install the paver stones. So we did not make the mistake. One of the foremans, knowing that the concrete was supposed to come out, shot the level of the pool from the coping over to the house. And so it's not a problem to fix it, but there's a cost incurred to do it. We have decided that we will incur some of that cost, but they gave us a reduced price. So instead of $5,300, it's going to be $4,200 to rip out the concrete and to have all paver stones. And that will be a more beautiful look, and we will have a nice straight level path. There is a certain amount of grading and allowance, under 2%, that you can have on a path, but we are between 3 and 4, closer to 4%. So if you're walking on the path, you definitely are going to fall over. So this will all get corrected. It's one of those unforeseen things, but there's one other point I wanted to point out, and that is right here, because we were leaving the concrete, that little white strip is a drainage strip that we needed if we were keeping the concrete. Now that the concrete is gone, they'll be able to pitch the paver stones so the water will roll off, and we will no longer need that ugly drainage. Now, let's move on to something more positive and beautiful. Our tile guy has been going absolutely crazy, and as you can see, I talked to you about the tile being installed below the coping. And so here he is. Matt is doing a fabulous job here and all the way around, and it will continue on the spillover here, and you'll see more of that tomorrow. So it is moving along quite well, and I will pick it up once we start getting our paver stones going. But it is so nice to see this really coming to a closure here. I would say we might make our October 31st deadline. I'll join you in a few minutes. Good morning. Today is rock delivery day. We're getting our rock delivered, and I just wanted to show you the process. We've already got the 4 to 8 inch pieces delivered, and now we have some specialty boulders which they're delivering. Let me turn around. So here are our 4 to 8 inch pieces. So we're changing out the existing rock from gray to a prettier brown rust color. But then these boulders, which are huge and heavy, get delivered by a forklift. I mean, the whole thing comes on a truck. You can see there's 2 more boulders in here that have to come out. So he's literally got to try to lift them somehow and get them out for us. Without destroying them, that is. Wedge, that's all. Now we can get underneath the boulder. I'm telling you, all these guys who work these machines, it's amazing how delicate they can be with such large equipment. I mean, here it is, he's getting a huge boulder. It's got to probably weigh over a ton. And somehow he's got to lift it and place it down so that we can place it into the yard. So here he comes, and I've asked him to place all the boulders
right here.
Right here. I've asked him to place all the boulders so that we have them better access for them. And there you have it. There's one boulder. Now this one's not as big. And just delicately puts it in. Okay, I'm gonna let him get the other two boulders out, and I'll join you in the back and show you some paver action that's happening. We've done our planting in the front. We've placed the big rock, and you can see the difference. I'm gonna scan over to my neighbor's yard here, and they'll be finishing this up today in the side yard. But when you have the basic DG, which is decomposed granite, it's like a sand, and it hardens up that grass doesn't grow through it, but it also is quite messy and moves around. So we've gotten rid of that, and then we had all gray rock. So as you can see over here, we've chosen to go to a brown rock and a small 3/4 inch pebble, and we've added some more plants, and it's really coming together very nicely. And we'll see this finished in a few minutes. But let's walk around the back where most of the excitement has happened. And the paver stones are all level and complete. That concrete pad came out. So as you can see, we're placing plants here. And now you can see here, that was concrete, so it's all paver stones now. And the tile is going up on the pool. They're starting to dig in some of the plants. But the decking up here is just beautiful. So at night, during the day we'll have this view, and at night we'll have a fire pit here, and you'll see that when we finish. But we've placed the plants in place so that they can be put in, and water is already run so that we can just put out the drippers. We do use drippers all here in the desert. And the pool equipment's arriving today. You need the pool equipment because once the PebbleTech goes in the pool, the finished area of the pool is called PebbleTech. Water goes in right away because PebbleTech cannot be exposed to the elements, sun or dry. It has to be wet at all times. So once the PebbleTech goes in, they actually start filling the pool right away. I'll show you that in a little while. I just wanted to give you a taste of where we're going. All the pipes going up there will be hidden by a wall, and that's where the pool equipment will be. But we're placing plants and digging out the area. So I will join you again in a few moments, maybe an hour, and we will see the process of filling in this pool. Good morning. Today is November 9th, and it is PebbleTech Day. They got to clean up the pool, and you can see the guys behind me. That's what they're doing, smoothing out, getting rid of all the garbage. And the whole process of PebbleTech will take most of the day. And tomorrow they'll acid wash the pool, and they will then fill it with water right away. So let me just show you what's going on. So here they are. They're cleaning up. They're putting down plastic so they don't get any PebbleTech on the coping, and to protect some of the plants. But they're cleaning up and washing it down and making sure all the dirt's out so that the PebbleTech goes in and it's all nice. It's a little breezy today, but I think the whole process will go smoothly. And they actually blow in from a tubing, which you can see here, sort of like the gunite process. And they'll connect that to the truck, and they actually blow it right in through the tubing into the backyard. So it's going to be an exciting process today. And just keep watching us on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network, Home Design Concepts, Tony Montuori, offering you new tips of design. Here they also have delivered the pool equipment. They're working on filling in the property by leveling it out, and then they'll set up the pool equipment because that has to get going right away too. Okay, I'll join you in another few minutes. So again, I'm just gonna pop in and out. But I just want to show you how the process is proceeding and what they're doing, cleaning up the pool before that PebbleTech goes in. Let me turn you around. Okay, so as you can see, all those pipes that were sticking out of the wall, they now have fittings on them so they can put return caps for where the water jets are, and they're cleaning out the whole process of the pool. And they're getting up all the water and the excess concrete and sucking that all out. And see all the caps here, all have been changed out to new fittings. So it is quite the process. These lines that you see, these rope lines, they'll hold up the electricity lines so they don't go into the PebbleTech as they're shooting. So these guys, again, it's a dance. See how over here on the wall, they figured out how to get tension to a rope by adding metal on the wall. And then they're able to make the rope more tense so that the lines don't fall into the PebbleTech as they're working. So isn't this Ocotillo tree just beautiful? Got them all staked up. Can't wait to get the rest of the gravel in the back here too. Okay, sorry. But really, they are cleaning it all up, washing it down, and getting it all prepped and ready. It's almost showtime. All of these blue lines are the lines that feed the PebbleTech. So there'll be multiple guys working, filling in the PebbleTech on the pool. And let me get a close-up here of the jet. So it's almost like a power sprayer or that you see in your backyard that you use to wash down the patio, but it's got 3 jets on it. So they spray in the PebbleTech, and they actually mix the color that we picked outside before it goes through the hose. And then as they go along, and you'll see the process of putting the PebbleTech on the walls, they're going to get to a point where they have to walk on it and smooth it out. So they actually have these spiky shoes that they put over their shoes so they can walk in the PebbleTech without making these huge footprints. And then they're able to walk and smooth it out, which you will see also. And lastly, one of the special features, which I'm looking for them right now, are these. Sorry. These are the drains that go at the bottom of the pool, and the drain will go around the edge, but the top will actually be filled in with PebbleTech so that it blends into the bottom of the pool. And of course we have drinks out for the guys, as you can see. But I hear the truck starting up, so they're going to start very soon, and it really is going to transform this, and then we'll be able to finish leveling out our property and be finished for another beautiful project done. So here you can see they're mixing in the PebbleTech so we get the color that we want. They do the whole process here, mixing in the machine, and then it runs through the hoses into the backyard and then into the pool. Okay, stay tuned. And here they go. And you'll see how, again, they work as a team. These guys aren't just standing around because they got nothing to do. They're waiting for the PebbleTech to go in and form. So you will actually see multiple coats of PebbleTech going on and how it changes. They have to kind of get a layer on and then do another layer. And you can see again, they're forming the edge as they go. because the PebbleTech sets up pretty quickly that it starts drying. I'm going to come around so you can see this side. So now he'll apply another layer to an area where it was dry already, or somewhat dry, and that's how they get the thicker layer on. So it's a building up process that they do, and again, these guys work as a team. And this guy's just waiting for the jacuzzi to come. So they work as a team and they form the whole process. You can actually see how it gets thicker on the walls as he's putting it on. The first layer going over to the second layer. And they do all the walls first because otherwise they'll be walking in it and making steps. But can you see how it dries pretty quickly? And they can add a second layer, third layer, fourth layer as they go. You don't see the speckle in the PebbleTech yet because now he's going to use a little bit of water and they spray off some of the plaster to expose the PebbleTech. He's also wetting the ground because it makes a better bond when they put the PebbleTech on, when they blow it on. All the handwork that does the details, that's where the skimmer is. They can't just blow it in there, so they have to add a little bit and then smooth it out and create an edge. So again, these guys are all craftsmen of their work and how they do it. And there are the cleats I was talking about. Can you see them on his shoes? So when he walks, he's raised above the PebbleTech because it's actually starting to dry and he's forming steps. So they have these shoes on and they can walk where it makes just little holes and can be smoothed out evenly after he walks on it. Okay, the layers are starting to get thicker and you won't really see the PebbleTech yet because they have to spray it down. So they really need to get a few layers on and then they wipe off some of the plaster so the PebbleTech can be exposed, and it's really what makes it sparkle. That's the word, sparkle. It's a beautiful morning here in the desert. It's like 57, 58 degrees. It'll go into the 70s today for sure. The clouds finally dispersed. But it's always sunny here in Southern California. Gotta hand it over, and here we go. Starting the jacuzzi process. He's going to get all his edges formed, and then he's going to add more and more as he goes. See, and they're cleaning off the tile, washing it down, the PebbleTech, so they get a nice smooth edge. We'll just go a little closer so you can really see that. They keep wetting it because it's actually drying a little quick on them, so it helps them to move it around easier if it's a little more moist. It's actually setting up very quickly. I'm amazed. Okay, I'll pick you up again as soon as they can move along a little bit more. So let's check in with them because they're smoothing out the process. They do have a lot down on the floor. I'm going to just turn around here, hold on. So they are just smoothing it out, cleaning off the tile as they go. Forming the edges of the steps, as you can see here. Tomorrow they will actually acid wash this pool, and a lot of the PebbleTech finish, that speckle that I showed you, will show up more so. But you can see how it really sets up pretty quickly, and we're in a somewhat cooler day here, so in the hot sun they got to work much quicker. But just smoothing it out, and the layers build upon each layer, making the PebbleTech build to the right height and level that they want it to be. I'm going to back up again here. I'm just smoothing out the whole process here into the corner. And see how the cleats only make little holes? If they had shoe prints, it would be very invasive in the process. So the spikes actually help to make the process go quicker and easier, and less holes or major holes in the PebbleTech on the floor. You can check in on the guy in the jacuzzi. He's moving along really nicely. Oh, we're getting a little entertainment again. He's actually taking out excess water, you can see that, using a paint roller. Smooth out the surface. Okay, let me walk around from a different angle so you can see the pool. They're actually done with the blowing of the PebbleTech, and now it's just smoothing out. They have more than enough. So they're taking out those hoses. Here he is working on the seat. And behind him you actually can see some of the PebbleTech coloring changing, that you can see some of the speckles coming through as it dries. Gives a little bit of moisture to give him to be able to spread it out a little bit better. The handwork in getting this all done is just amazing. I mean, it's all handwork that gets this done. Here he is spraying off the tile and getting a smooth edge, cleaning it up. But you have to wash it down. You have to make it more pliable so that you can work with it. So you have to do, you know, two different processes. You know, you need to wet it, but then you also need it a certain dryness level in order to make it stay in place. I just found out that it's family here, so that's one brother, another brother, another brother, and Padre here. So the trade is passed down and taught in family, and I guess, you know, learning a trade is very important because not everybody is out there being a businessman. People want different things, pools, construction. There's so many different variables in this world that we need people for, and that we need these tradesmen in order to do different processes in our life. I couldn't do this. I don't know how they even stand on their feet for so long. I don't know if you can see it drying slowly on the edges there, but you're really starting to get a feeling of the pebble tech. Okay, I'm going to let them finish up the process here, and then I will catch up to you when this is done. Here they are, washing off the excess plaster in the pebble tech, exposing the beautiful pebble tech, which is what you want to see, that beautiful pebble. And what they do is they put a drain in the bottom of the pool here, and it's a vacuum that's sucking out all the excess water. So they push all the water down to the bottom here, and they still continue to smooth out. I mean, it does need to be wet to smooth out the process, but it's interesting how they do that and reduce the moisture. The jacuzzi is almost done. He's gonna have to suck out some extra water down there. They've cleaned up the tile pretty well too. Okay.
What kind of airplane your sounds like? C-35.
So it's a tedious, slow process. You don't just blow it in and smooth it out. It's all a finishing process. And again, these guys all work together. Absolutely amazing. Worth every penny to get that beautiful texture. And now he's able to remove just enough water with the roller, and they'll smooth out all the little holes from the shoe marks that they put in. You can see now he took off his spiky sandals because it's set up enough that he can stand on it without going through it. You know, it's very interesting how it needs to be wet, but it can't be that wet, because then it won't set completely. So it does need to be moist for them to be able to work it and move it. But at the same time, it needs to be somewhat dry so it can settle up and harden. The soothing sound of water filling a pool. It just makes you feel at ease. So the Pebble Tech is done, the acid washing of the pool is done, and they're filling the pool. So let me show you. Hold on a second. So we're filling the pool up right now. And as you can see, all water turns a blue-green color. We've chosen a beige Pebble Tech, but even though the Pebble Tech is a beige color, as the water goes in, it is a blue-green color. So I just wanted you to see it coming together, adding the rock in, and seeing the Pebble Tech without the water in it. And it has a beautiful, beautiful texture to it. And here's the texture of the Pebble Tech. And you can see it with the tile. So it is really very pretty. And then the water will flow over and the pool will just be beautiful once it's all done. Well, welcome back. This is our finale to our grand pool renovation. And I decided to show you that we've renovated the front yard and the backyard all at the same time. You know, if you're going for it, just go for it. It's only money. So here we are. We got an early Christmas present and everything is done. So I'm going to turn around and I'm going to share it with you. So starting here in our front, we have this wonderful fountain feature, and we've added a lot of large boulder and distinctive plants. Remember, everything's going to grow, but this is just the entry to the house. It's just a cozy place to walk up to and feel like we're home. So let's take a walk around to the backyard, but I'll just show you what we've done out here. Always having good feng shui, having wind chimes and water movement. You can see we're ready for Christmas. Come down here first. So here we've redone the landscaping. We've moved around some trees that were here and we've added other ones. Created levels, different textures with large rock and small rock. Our Laudia Ocotillo finally got planted. It's staked up, but in about a year, I could take all the stakes down. All the branches will be strong enough to stand by themselves. And even though we went for an asymmetrical look, we did give a little bit of symmetry on either side of the driveway, having similar triangular large rock and cactus at the end of the driveway. All desert landscaping, just naturally planted to grow naturally without any cutting. So let's go in the backyard. I actually had some leftover paver stones, so I created a walkway myself into the rocks. And as you can see, we blends right into the new paver stone walkway that they've done with planting going all the way down. And I don't know if you can hear that wonderful fountain feature, but it is going, so we're gonna go right to that first. So the pool is finished here. And we added this great fountain feature, which you can see right here. Those are deck jets. They can be raised higher or lower individually. It's just a nice, fun feature. I don't know if you can see that bench that I was talking about. There it is in the water. So you can sit there have a little cocktail. There's our other Alaudia Ocotillo right in the middle. Our sun lounges in our Baja Relief spot. Remember to add that hole so that you can have an umbrella. So if it gets a little too warm, you can still feel comfortable in the water. As you come around here, they concealed our pool equipment behind a wall. And then I wanted to create a special garden here that you view instead of just being an empty spot. We put up fences to camouflage the air conditioners, and then created an amoeba-shaped garden here with different plants. You can see the aloe are just starting to bloom. The flowers are up. But again, as everything grows naturally, it'll all bloom out. I'm just going to walk around so you can see all the accent lighting, which I will do a night shot for you so you can really see everything at the level. But this is just a great spot to sit under this umbrella and enjoy the view. We've added nice furniture, little sitting area for dining, our outdoor TV, and a little sitting area here where we barbecue. So coming around, let's go up on that deck. In case you don't know what time it is from the pool and you forgot your glasses, you shouldn't miss it now. So again, we created this upper deck area that has a view of the whole entire pool and our mountains in the background, as well as over here there are some, and just a nice little fire pit sitting area. As twilight leads to darkness, so does the serenity of this beautiful backyard. You can see the glow on my skin from my fire pit. Let me back up and show you what it looks like at night. All the ground lights are starting to pop on. Hold on a second. So everything's aglow. The candles are lit. The fire pit's going. The pool has its white light on with our lovely jacuzzi. And all of our lights have just started popping on the garden, shining on the plants. Paying attention to detail is the key to any project. Look at the finishing touches. Look at how you put everything together, the scale of how you put it together. Projects can be very intense, but the labor can be the fruits of your reward. And you just want to snuggle in with a nice cup of coffee, cup of hot chocolate, nice glass of wine maybe. Listen to your fountain feature going, and just see all the elements come together. Thank you for following us and watching this two-part series on the fabulous backyard and pool renovation. I'm Tony Montuori Jr. with Home Design Concepts on the Empty the Bench podcast network. We're here to help you with any of your design elements that you need solved. Whether it's interior, exterior, we're here to help you. You can reach out to us at interiorconcepts30@yahoo.com. And don't forget to follow my show and all the fabulous shows on the Empty the Bench podcast network on YouTube and on Twitter. So I look forward to seeing you again, and have a great weekend.